If you drive in Perth, this might come as news to you, but on one side of your steering wheel there's a lever. It's wired up in such a way that if you just flick it upwards or downwards, you'll send a signal through the innards of your vehicle that will light up several bulbs on the corresponding side of the car. Now these flashing orange lights, dear friends, are called indicators. And they serve to let other motorists know what's up, just like bright colours in the animal kingdom indicate don't fuck with this, and fedoras on young men indicate don't, under any circumstances, fuck this. See, I tried to make it lighthearted. The truth is I started writing this poem on a long drive home late at night. So I started thinking about Luke, and I was trying not to cry. Luke was in my year at high school. He was big. He must have been held back a year because he towered over all of us. And he got his P's a year earlier. We all used to sidle up to this gentle giant and say, "Hey Luke, reckon you give us a lift?" "Yeah, no worries, man," and off we'd go. With his big old smile in the driver's seat, you hardly needed headlights. But the thing about Luke's driving was that he liked to treat corners as little surprises for his passengers. "Ha, didn't know we were going this way, did you?" And we're all hanging on for dear life in the back. We'd say, "Luke, you gotta indicate, man." He'd say, "I was." You guys just weren't paying attention. In year 11, Luke committed suicide. Not one of us knew he was depressed. I don't know how he did it, but when he did, I like to think an angel came down and offered him a lift for a change. God knows he had enough owing to him. When suicide overtakes road accident as the leading cause of death in young Australians, it's an indicator that the way we deal with mental health in this country isn't good enough. When 2,500 Australians every year decide to give up on their flashing orange lights and quietly cut the engine, it's an indicator that the way we deal with mental health in this country isn't good enough. And yes, this is a lesson for our hospitals. They need to take mental health seriously and start providing beds where they're needed. And yes, it's a lesson for our schools that teaching kids to differentiate equations is one thing, but teaching them to differentiate pain from paralysis, fear from helplessness, sadness from suicidality is another thing entirely, but mostly it's a lesson for motorists. A lesson for you and me, and on long drives home late at night, it's a lesson that can seem so clear, but in the daylight, some of those orange lights don't flash quite as brightly as we'd like them to. Some of those orange lights don't flash very brightly at all, so I beg you, look harder, look longer. Do not make yourself another motorist muttering a poem to yourself on a long drive home late at night about the friend you lost because you weren't paying attention.